Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports for yet another video. And today we are here to talk about IPL auction because as the auction has set about, and we saw some big buys, we saw some record-breaking buys here on the show. We did predict that you might see the 20 crore mark being breached, and yes, it did happen for the first time ever in IPL auction history. And a couple of players have become the most paid players in the history of IPL as well. That I'm talking about is Mitchell Starc and Patrick Cummins as well. So all in all, you can say it's been a phenomenal auction for a lot of teams, and you saw some records being broken. If I were to just display some of the interesting stats, what you saw from um, what you can see is some of the biggest buys, most expensive buys in IPL history. You saw these players being sold at a very high price, and Mitchell Stark and Patrick Cummins especially because these two were the flavor of the season after having won the World Cup. There was a lot of World Cup hype, you can say so, when it comes to these two players. So that's what we can tell you. You know, it's been a phenomenal auction to start off with. But I have Sai with me. What do you make of this auction, Sai? We did predict certain players to go for very high in demand, and that's exactly what has happened. Yes, Sai.
Yeah, am I audible?
What happened? We'll start again in
Am
that
I,
case. Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports for yet another video. And today we're going to be talking about IPL auction because you saw some record-breaking deals which has taken place in this IPL auction. We did predict over here that 20 crore mark might be breached, and exactly that's what has happened. You saw some players go for some big amount of money. That includes the Australian captain Patrick Cummins and Mitchell Stark, who's created history, and what a comeback from Mitchell Stark into the IPL. We're going to be covering all of that over here. I have Sai joining me. Sai, what an auction that was.
yeah, I mean, it has been very impressive for the teams where we have seen the teams are going all out for what they want. They are very clear that we want this player and they are backing their bank. And also, still there are a few teams who have been not that much impressive in the auction, although they had good amount of good amount of purse also, but still they were unable to uh, make it count. But yeah, let's discuss one by one about each team
Yeah,
what they did actually in the auction and which teams can be the ideal choice to qualify for the playoffs and more importantly their playing 11 combinations.
absolutely. Let's start off by looking at it, right? Because this is the most exciting part of it as to how the teams went about. Maybe we can start from the north of India to maybe start off with, or do you want to go to the south of India? What do you think,
Yeah,
Sai?
we can start from bottom.
We can start from the south of India. Okay. Let's start with the defending champions themselves, Chennai Super Kings. I mean, they had possibly one of the best auctions they've had in their history, you can say. So often Chennai Super Kings go into auction and not all of their fans are happy about it. Not every single buy is quite satisfactory because they tend to buy players who are slightly out of box, right? But this time around, they had their mark cut out. They wanted Darren Mitchell, as we discussed earlier on. They went for a Rachin Ravindra at a very low price of 1.8 crores. They got in a Samir Rizvi who had lit up the UP T20 league earlier this year and signed Mustaq Ali Trophy for UP. So he is part of this team. He's uncapped Indian, the highest sold uncapped Indian in this particular edition of this IPL auction. That is Samir Rizvi. They got in a Shardul Thakur who makes a homecoming for Chennai at 4 crores and a Mustafizur Rahman who looks like a buy for the conditions that they've gotten him for 4 crores. What do you make of Chennai Super Kings auction?
Yeah, I mean, if we talk about the top three teams who have been very happy with their auction strategy, it's the first one will be itself Chennai because what they wanted, they have it because they wanted the backup for Raidu. They have it as an Indian batter, Samir Rizvi. Then they wanted a backup of Ben Stokes, and now they have it in terms of Daryl Mitchell. So yeah, so whatever they wanted, they got it completely. And to have Shardul back under 5 CR, that's a steal, I can say.
Yeah.
Again, to have Rachin Ravindra at such a cheap price, another steal, right? And now they do have one more foreign option in terms of a pacer, Mushfiqur Rahman. uh, let's take if some at some point of time we have some issues with the bowler Pathirana. So in that case, you can come up with Mushfiqur as well, right?
Mustafa.
So all
Yeah.
the bases covered. So I can
Yeah.
rank completely at first rank if you talk about the top three teams in the auction.
Okay, you've ranked them number one already, so everybody will have to come under them. Let's go to their neighbors, Bangalore. To start off, is another team. Did not make it to the playoffs last time and ended up being in the sixth position. They came to the auction after having released most of their bowlers. They released a triple H in Hazelwood, Hasaranga, and Harshal. So they were in the market shopping for overseas bowlers and also Indian quicks. So these are the main bowlers they got, right? And to add to that, they also got in a sort of Chauhan as a batter there. But how did you make of their auction? Was slightly surprising, or are you happy with what they had? Because remember, auction dynamics wise, they knew they couldn't go for Starc because Kolkata Knight Riders and Gujarat Titans were having a purse in excess of 30 odd crores by the time Starc was going to come in. And you saw at the end of the day, Bangalore Spurs wasn't enough for getting Starc either ways. But they did bid for Patrick Cummins till 20.25 crores. So what did you make of their auction?
Yeah, I mean, they do had the purse with him, right? So I'm surprised that they didn't went for a quality pacer because if you look closely about their pacers, all of them are kind of a mediocre. To be honest, none of the pacer is kind of a lethal where the batters can scare out of it, right?
Yeah.
Because you have the chance to go for Cummins. Also, you have a chance
But
to go for.
my question is, could they have gone for Cummins? Because 20.25 crores, they went for 20.5 crores. They did go for Cummins, but then 20 odd crores for Cummins for with having to fill so many slots. I think that would have been a blunder.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I can understand in terms of their purse they have an issue, but still, if uh, if you talk about other pacer like Harshal Patel, he also went for 11 odds, right? So why not him? Because he's an Indian option and an Indian pacer at the
Mm-hmm.
same price, almost at the same price you got Alzari, right?
Yep.
So I'm a
Yep.
bit surprised that you could have got Harshal as well at the same price, or maybe
Yep.
a couple of numbers here and there. But yeah, that was the kind of a surprising element for them. Also, if you look about their other pacers, they have Yash Dayal and they have Lockie Ferguson. Not that much impressive in terms of a lethal bowler. Most of them are kind of a mediocre bowler. So I was expecting at least they will go for a reputed bowler in terms of a lethal bowler who can clean up the opponents in the first 6 overs.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
is missing, I feel, in terms of Bangalore. Again, bowling
I,
issues will
to a certain
retain
extent,
with
yes.
them.
To a certain extent, yes, they are missing possibly one lethal bowler. You can say I think they're missing a spinner more than anything else because if you look at fast bowling dynamics, they could have possibly gone for a Karthik Tyagi maybe when you talk about uncapped Indian pacers, and when you talk about maybe they should have bid for a Koidzi or a Madhushanka. But I think looking at the dynamics, Alzari Joseph isn't a bad thing, and they got Lockey for base price. Remember, this is the same trio who won Gujarat and IPL couple of seasons ago. So I think they'd be happy with the buys they had considering the dynamics, and they'd be slightly disappointed that they did not end up their hands on a spinner. So, how do you rank them in the auction table?
Yeah, I mean, it will be in the average point of view, in the middle,
Yeah,
around fifth, around fourth or fifth rank, not
yeah,
in the top three
absolutely.
completely.
Absolutely. Let's go a little more on top in the south of India as well. It is Hyderabad, right? They got their first bid with Travis Head in Hasaranga at a very minimal price. Now, over here, we did expect Hasaranga to cross the 10 CR mark, but it did not happen, or we do not know what's happening with Hasaranga as to the back end news, as to his fitness. Maybe one of the reasons why a lot of teams do not bid for him. There was not a single bidder for him. Now that's very surprising, right? It's not often that you see a player like Hasaranga who's a single-handed match winner and there was no bidder for him. So that was slightly surprising, you reckon, at that point?
Yeah, I mean, for that, I feel uh, everyone have their own set of spinners, and in India, foreign spinners are less tend to play in the
But
playing
we're talking
11
about
initially.
Hasaranga, right? No, it's not. He's not just a one-dimensional spinner. He can
Yeah,
offer you with the bat, terrific fielder, can win you a match with the ball by picking up average of 3 to 4 wickets a game, and he was one of the leading wicket takers in 2022. Uh, that was surprising for me personally speaking, because either there's an injury issue or something that a lot of teams know that we don't.
Yeah, I mean, that is a surprise still. We can accept that. But on the other hand, if you look from the other team's point of view, over there they already have their quality spinners, right? If you look about CSK, they do have Santner and they do have Moeen Ali. So you don't have an option to play him. Same thing goes with other teams. They already have their quality spinners in terms of Indian spinner or a overseas spinner. So Hyderabad is the only team who can afford to keep him on the bench because they do have huge amount of foreign players, right?
Yeah.
If you talk about other teams, it is difficult for them. How can you keep Hasaranga on bench, right? But SRH is the only team who have too many for overseas options. They can only afford to keep him out, or they can only afford to keep him in the playing
Mm,
11. Not all the
yeah.
teams. So that may
Yeah,
be the
but
option why others didn't bid for them.
I agree. But we have to talk about the biggest buy, Patrick Cummins. What did you make of that? Considering that SRH already have a Marco Jansen who can bat and ball at number 7, is Patrick Cummins their captain for this season? Because look like he is just not considered as a bowler who can bat at number 8. Considering his T20 stats, which is not the most impressive in the world, it could be possibly also that he could be the captain for SRH this year.
Yeah, I mean, if you are spending around 20 CR, then for sure he will be your captain, right? And I feel bad for Makram because now if you try to make the playing 11 in that scenario, you already have so many for overseas options. You have to play Cummins for sure. You have to play Klassen for sure because you don't have any quality keeper. So these two overseas slots already filled. Now you took head, so you have to play head for sure in the top order. Now only one slot left. It can be Marco Jansen or it can be Markram, right?
Yeah,
And I feel if your captain is Cummins, then you have to sacrifice Markram in the playing 11. You will have
yeah.
to go with Marco Jansen, right?
I agree there.
So
I agree there.
yeah. So
But
in
who do
terms
you
of
see
this,
there? Who do you see there? I'd say Markram, okay, he might not play. Then Klaassen is a sure shot player in this team. I think it's going to be between Markram slash Glenn Phillips for that position, because both kind of gives you similar roles. Glenn Phillips more, he can give you more power towards a lateral and a finisher's role, or more or less. And they have their top three sort of now, because now you have Travis said as well. How do you go about it? Do you play Travis as an opener here, or do you keep him in the bench?
yeah, I mean, if you went for him over 6 years, so for sure he will be in the playing 11, and it will be the opening batter with Abhishek Sharma, right? Moreover, then you also have Rahul Tripathi, you also have Makram, Abdul Samad is there. Too many options, right? This is what is happening with SRH from many years right now.
Yeah,
They have so many resources and still they are not able to use it properly. That has been the story for them. In terms of Markram slash Phillips, if you talk about this too, then it will be Markram. But as I said, you have to play Cummins, you have to play Head, you have to play Klassen. The only
yeah,
option is Markram or Janssen, depending
yeah,
on the scenario. So
absolutely.
between them, I'll go with Markram because he gives you more stability, more confidence in terms of staying on the pitch. Glenn Phillips, we don't have any guarantee that he will take the innings till the end of the game.
Yeah,
He may throw his wicket in between as well.
yeah.
So that can be a scenario with him. But I don't feel any of these two will be in the 11. It will be Marco Jansen eventually in the end.
Absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see how that 11 forms up, because if you're going to play Cummins, Asaranga, and Janssen, then you have only one overseas slot, and that's going to be more or less taken by Klaassen. And that's going to leave them with a very inexperienced Indian middle order. I hope they don't do that mistake. And that's going to really expose them to a lot of vulnerabilities, which is not going to really help this team. So that's going to be really important to see how they go about it. Let's go to Mumbai Indians, right? One of the teams who had a very good auction got Gerald Kudze at 5 CR. Nuwan Tushara there. A lot of people are not talking about him. Now, for a lot of people who do not know, Nuwan Tushara is known as another Malinga because what he brings is he brings that slightly slingy action, has had a decent T10 so far, and adding to that Dilshan Madhushankar, who picked up an extra of 20 wickets in the World Cup, who they got it for a very cheap price of 4 crore. They had 17 odd crores coming into the auction, and they're most likely, you can say they've used that 17 crores to optimum utilization. And Nabi, who could be a backup for someone like Gerald Coetzee or Romario Shepherd at 1.5 CR if they're going to play on turning surfaces. How do you rate Mumbai Indians auction? Because I think it's a very good auction in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean they deserves the top three slot because of the two players, Madhushanka and Kodze, because these two, if you talk about their bid, because the order they came in, it was a bit late, right, as compared to other pacers. So that's why MI has the advantage that you can afford both the pacers in your team because before the auction, if you talk about can you have Madhushanka and Kodze in a single team, no one can go with that. But now MI has it completely, and now if you talk about their combination, they can afford to play both the paces, right? Because in the top order, in the batting order, you can go with core Indian batting order as well for a few of the games, depending on the scenarios. MI is the
Yeah,
only team who can afford to have Kodze and Madhushanka in the single squad as well
yeah.
for a few of the games, depending on the scenario.
I think all the
And
games because if you look at their batting order, I'll just display the squad on the screen as well. Meanwhile, as to what they bring into the team, right? If you look at Mumbai's squad, as you can see on the screen right now, um, I think they are one of the very few teams who's got ability to play seven Indian batters. Most I'll tell you: Rohit Ishan, Surya Tilak, Nehal Vadera, Hardik Pandya, and you have Tim David at number seven, who can come at number seven. So that is a strong Indian core of batting. Then you can afford to play a Romario Shepherd, Gerald Coetzee, Madhushanka, so three of them. Then you can use one of them as an impact sub as well. So either ways, I think they are sorted when it comes to the bowling department, especially pace department. Spin department, I still think Piyush Chavla, if he can do a half decent job, this team is sorted.
yeah, I mean, absolutely, because that's how it has been for MI. Their core has been always retained with them. Just few of the modifications they do all the time, and eventually they build the players. Right? MI and CSK, these are the two franchises. They always build the players. For Madhushanka, I feel he was one of the outstanding player on Wankhede Stadium, one of the World Cup games. So that may be a reason. Also, Mahela Jayawardene connection with Sri Lankan youngsters. That may
Yeah.
be a connection that bought Madhushanka as well. But yeah, both the players around 5 CR, that's a complete steal, right? At a pacer.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a very good buy for that particular amount of money, and they've really made the most out of it. So you've said you already ranked them out of top three in the top 10. So that's very nice. Let's go to Gujarat Titans, right? Finalist of last year's IPL. Let go of Hardik Pandya came with the biggest purse. What do you make of them? Because they got Umesh Yadav, who could be possibly a backup for Mohammad Shami at five. They've gotten a Karthik Tyagi at 60 lakhs. They've got an Omar Zai, Azmatul Omar Zai at base price of 50 lakhs. Then they've got Sushant Mishra, left arm seamer can contribute a little bit there for 2 odd crore. Robin Mins, who looks like a possible replacement for Riddhiman Saha, can be an explosive batter up top for 3 crores. Shah Rukh Khan, a middle order bat, maybe a replacement for Hardik Pandya, who can bat number 5, number 6 for 7 crores. Spencer Johnson for 10 crores. What did you make of their auction?
Yeah, I mean, for them, it has been good, but still, I feel the amount of purse they had, they could have gone for big names as well. But depending on their squad they have, they don't need those big names as well, right? That can be also a scenario.
Yeah.
So based on this auction, for sure they have done extremely well
Huh.
because they already have great names in their retained list, right? They don't
Right.
need very fancy players or big names into their squad. They already have it in their original squad. So I don't feel any questions or any kind of complaints from them in this auction. Whatever they have done now, they do had some youngsters, overseas youngsters like Umar Zaid and Indian youngsters, and some well-known names from Aussies as well. So that's a good mixture that they have. So I don't have any problem with their auction. It has been good at an average level. So that deserves to be on top five for sure.
Absolutely. That's about it when it comes to Gujarat Titans. Let's move to the next team quickly. I think we have to talk about the Kolkata Knight Riders, right? Because what a phenomenal time did they have when it comes to spending those money for Mitchell Starc. They were in competition with Gujarat Titans to get him. They got him for 24.75 crore. They were one team who had to fill in 10 slots coming into this auction. Then they got in players whoever they could for base price. They got in Chetan Sakri for base price, which was a decent buy in my opinion. They've gotten a bowler who was not a known commodity, Saqib Hussain as well. It's on the part of this list for 50 lakhs. He's a decent player. Then they've gotten KS Bharat. They needed an Indian wicketkeeper batter at 50 lakhs. Manish Pandey at base at 50 lakhs, which is decent. Then they've got Gus Atkinson at 1 crore, Sherfin Rutherford at 1.5, and Mujibur Rahman at base at 2. What do you make of their auction? Because I felt they did overpay for Mitchell Stark a little bit because considering they had to build a lot of spots, 24.75 for Mitchell Stark is a bit too much.
I mean, if you talk about the bottom of the auction, then KKR will be in the bottom three if you rank them. Why? Because that's great that you want a player and you are going for him all out, but you have to also build the rest of the squad as well, right? Now, if you try to build their playing 11, you don't have much options, right? You cannot play whole season with Russell and Nareen, whole 14 games. Hopefully, if you qualify, then the knockout games as well. You cannot play whole season with these two players.
Right.
Now, in order to have backup for them, you don't have any backup. In the top order, you have Gurbaz, right? You have mm, Jason Roy, then you
Yeah.
have Ayer, any two will be for sure. Then Rana, and then you have Ayer, then Rinku Singh. So nothing is kind of destructive, right? If you compare the top five with any of the IPL teams, you will find big names in terms of performance as well,
Yeah.
in terms of destruction, right? You don't have any destruction in the top five for KKR. Now
Yeah.
coming back to the bowling side,
You can
you cannot.
say Ayer and Rinku and Narana can be destructive enough to take on spinners in the middle overs.
Yeah, I mean, it depends based on their day, to be honest, right? Not for the whole season they can do. Ringo, for sure, he can be, but he came very late. He comes around five number, and the first 10 overs hardly get a chance to play. And in IPL or in any T20 game, first 10 overs are the uh, way where you can build your whole strategy of the innings, right? If you have the momentum, then you can carry forward it very easily. If you don't have the momentum in the first 10 games, you have to struggle a lot at the death overs as well, right?
Yeah.
So I don't feel this top five, which is the batting order they have, nothing close to the best ideal 11 or the ideal batting lineup to the other
Yeah.
teams as well, right?
Absolutely.
So I don't feel it will be surprising for me as well if they qualify for the playoffs.
Hmm, interesting. Interesting. It'll be good if they can build a spinning track in Kolkata and unleash Suresh Sharma, Sunil Narayan, and Varun Chakravarti. I think that's one way they can operate because their top five are phenomenal players who spin, in my opinion, and that's the strength they can rely upon. But let's go to Lucknow, or let's go to Rajasthan first, then we'll go to Lucknow.
Yeah.
Let's go to Rajasthan Royals. They came to this auction with a little amount of purse, and they had to fill very limited amount of slots. They got a Rovman Powell at 7.4 odd crores and a Shubham Dubey who had lit up the Syed Mustaqil Trophy, who plays from Vidarbh as a finisher this season at 5.8 crores. And they got in a Andre Berger who's had a very good season against India, especially the series against India, ongoing series against India has really been impressive with the pace and the swing he's gotten up front. Could be a replacement for Trent Bolt if Trent Bolt is not fit for all the games. What did you make of their auction?
Yeah, I mean for them, because they really had really low purse, so they don't have anything else to buy. They whatever they had the options, they went for it. For Rockman Power, I feel it was overpaid because we have seen the way
Yeah,
he played in the last IPL.
yeah,
It was for only for the couple of games, not for the whole season, right? And I guess he smashed around 4 sixes or 3 or 4 sixes continuously against Rajasthan Royals as well, right?
Yeah,
So this is the that may be a reason why he went for him
yeah.
as well. And for Shubham Dubey, yeah, they are building their squad for the future as well. So that is a good buy, I feel, because Indian players they deserve a lot. They deserve more than they got in IPL. So that's a
Yeah,
good thing. And for Berger, that's the backup for the overseas that they have.
I agree. I agree. I think one of the biggest positives out of this auction, which has come, is the way in which how the Indian youngsters have been given recognition, especially the youngsters who have performed inside Musaki Trophy. For example, we talk about someone like Samir Rizvi for that matter, or a Shubham Dubey, or for that matter, Kumar Kushagra. We'll talk about him shortly. So these players have really gotten that big deal. But before that, let's go to Lucknow Super Giants. They also came in with a very limited budget coming into the auction. They had gotten a trade of Devdan Patikal. All what they had to do was to fill in those backups. Shivam Mavi for 6.4 crores. Siddharth Maniraman, who's been phenomenal in TNPL and signed Mustaqil Trophy for 2.4 crores. David Willey at 2 crores and Ashton Turner 1 crore. What did you make of them? Because I personally felt one of the best selection was Siddharth Maniraman at 2.4 crores, considering they'll be playing in Ekana, and if that wicket is going to hold a little bit, or if they want to use a spinner in the power play as an impact sub, he's the right man to go.
Yeah, basically, same thing goes with them as well with the limited purse. They don't have much options to go for, but still, Siddharth and Turner, I feel these two other quality steals that they got. Again, Shivam paid got overpaid because six above 6 year,
Yeah.
which is way overpaid for him because
And do you think he's
he
going to
can
start
go.
at any point, Shubham Mavi, with this team? Because you already have
Um,
a Yash Thakur. I'll put up the squad on the screen as well. So a lot of people who do not know what's happening with that squad, if you look at that squad, you already have someone like uh, you have a Yash Thakur, you have a Mohsin Khan, then you have Yudhvir Singh Charak, who's been very impressive when it comes to bowling high pace. Then you got an Arshin Kulkarni, who's been impressive in the Maharashtra T20 League, and he's also been impressive in the India under 19, and then a Shivam Mavi. So I think Shivam Mavi could be used as an impact sub at max. I don't see him as sure starter for 6.4 crores.
Yeah, I mean, for them, you can see clearly they do have great options ahead of Shivam Mavi. Shivam Mavi, again, he can be the option depending on the pitches they play. But still, not in the first 11 because options are there. You have great options like Yash Thakur is there, right? Mohsin Khan. Again, Naveen is there. So I don't feel initially. But if you look closely, they do have plenty of all rounders. They don't have a proper batter who can be a specialist batter. For that, I feel Turner can be a player to watch out for because after they left Manish Pandey and Karun Nair, I feel other players. I guess there was one player I won't remember. Mm, Okay, let me recall it afterwards. So the
Yeah,
Indian players, two Indian players with Manish Pandey and one more Indian player. They had Manan Vohra. Yeah, Manan Vohra was there
yeah.
initially. So kind of a great backup they have Turner because you can see lots of all rounders, not a proper batter. And with this situation, you cannot rely completely on your all rounders because all rounders do have to uh, contribute to the batting side as well as to the bowling side, right? They cannot do it consistently to both the departments. So a
Hmm.
batter was extremely important for them. In that scenario, I feel Turner was the great buy. Again, if you rank them, they hardly need anyone in the squad, kind of a big name. So they do have already big names. But now, after the GG factor is out, now I want to see how this team will perform without GG because we all know, even though it was KL Rahul and then the
And
coaching staff, yeah, but still
and yeah,
the majority of the decision making was from GG in the
yeah, correct,
LSG squad, right? Now
correct.
I want to see how they will perform without him because now he's back with their home team KKR, and
Yeah, correct.
even though you can see when he was with LSG he bought Manish Pandey, and now with KKR he again bought Manish Pandey. right?
Yeah,
So
and it's also
now,
going to be interesting to see the pitch they play on, because last time I think GG really wanted Lucknow to play in that slow surface. I think they have come out of that, and I did want to play in a good surface. Now, if you look at that squad once again, which is on the which I put on the screen, look at Quentin de Kock, or for that matter, Dave Del Particle or KL Rahul. Everybody wants to play on a good surface. They're not the best of players who if they're going to play on a slow surface, and they're not going to get anything out of that team if they're going to play on a sluggish surface, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean that has been the story in Lucknow, right? Lucknow, we see very slow pitch, very dry pitch, and kind of a very low scoring game. But sometimes it also helps them, right? It also has helped them for their bowling order, bowling
Yeah,
unit. But for the batting unit, it has been a disaster for them, due to which
yeah.
players like De Kock and then importantly Hooda, these players got very underperformed and they lose
Mm,
their form due to that.
yeah. Yeah. We'll go to the second last team of the day. It is Delhi Capitals, the team from the north again. It's been a very surprising auction for me because they've got so many wicket keeping options now. Kumar Kushagra is their biggest buy. They had so much of purse coming into the auction. They've gotten a Kumar Kushagra at 7.2 crores, who's not really played a lot of cricket, especially T20 cricket. Wicket keeping option. Jai Richardson at 5 crore. Again, surprising because you had options like Madhu Shankar, Jalal Koidze, but have gone for Jai Richardson, who is not really performed in IPL. Harry Brook for 4 is a decent buy, but I still think there were better options at that particular price. And Sumit Kumar at 1 crore, Share Hope at 7 crore, 70 lakh, and Tristan Stubbs at base price of 50 lakhs as well. What do you make of it? For me, I personally feel that team has so many wicket keeping options. I'll just put the score on the screen now. You have Rishabh Pant if he's going to keep, that's a wicket keeping option. Abhishek Porel is a wicket keeping option there. Then you have you have Tristan Subs as a wicket keeping option. Ricky Bowie is another buy who they have got in the auction is a wicket keeping option. Shea Hope is a wicket keeping option. So and Kumar Kushagra as well. That's close to 7 wicket keeping options, and I don't know how they're going to fit all of them in.
Yeah, I mean for them, mainly, we all know Delhi is a youngster squad, right? They
Yeah,
always back their youngsters, and they do, even though it's Prithvi Shaw initially 5 years ago, and then Lalit Yadav was there, Akshay Patel was there. A year came from that, right? So all the youngsters, they have a kind of a pattern that they do promote youngsters a lot. That's a
yeah.
good thing. No, for the proper wicket keeper, it will be a proper wicket keeper. They won't go for any part-time wicket keeper. That's why they had so many wicket keepers. But we all know uh, only one will play eventually, right? But if you look at the auction strategy, Jared Richardson, yeah, he haven't been very well in the IPL, but now in the BBL, as I'm following BBL also, but he has been in a good form, right? He will carry the form for sure, and that's a
Mm.
steal because Aussies around 5 CR, any Aussies around 5 CR is a steal, right? If you talk about any Aussies, right, we had head as well, went for above 6, right? Then we
Yeah,
had Cummins, then we had Starc,
yeah.
also multiple Aussies. Still, Richardson around 5, that's a steal, I feel. Again, Harry Brook, again below 5 CR, again a steal because he can be the player because Delhi is a wicket where it is a very flat wicket. We don't have
It
any.
depends. If you're
Uh,
gonna get that wicket, what do you get in the World Cup? What do you got in the World Cup? Yes, it's a very good option to have
yeah.
Harry Brook. But how do you see that team shape? Because I see David Warner open with Prithvi Shaw, then Mitchell Marsh at 3, Rishabh Pant at 4. At 5, I'd see a Harry Brook. At 6, Lalit Yadav, and then or Kumar Kushagra, that whoever, and then Akshar Patel at 7, Kuldeep, Nokia, Khalil, and Mukesh Kumar is how I'm seeing the team. Not a lot of changes from last year, but Rishabh Pant comes in, Harry Brook comes in. I think that's going to give them that lower middle order as well, a little bit of strength.
Yeah, for here, I don't feel Rishabh will play all the games and he won't keep for sure. Uh, and in terms of playing all the games, not possible. Even impact performer, I don't feel he will be an impact player as well. Maybe for a couple of games, hardly 3 or 4 games he will play, as an impact player, not more than that, because it's not kind of a domestic league. It's a IPL league, right? Again, kind of very close to international league as well, right? So I don't feel he will take a risk because we all know T20 World Cup is very difficult for him to make it for. But again, we have 25 WTC, right? And
Yeah,
we have Champions Trophy as well. So we don't want to take any risk now because we know what can be the worst from here. So
yeah.
I don't feel he will be the complete part. Maybe to entertain the fans, Delhi fans, or maybe to have some own practice. He may come for the 3 4 games as an impact player. And that's it. I don't feel he will be the part of any further than that.
Interesting, interesting. It's also going to be very interesting to see how his injury develops as well. If he's fit, that's going to be good. And the way in which he comes. So let's go to Punjab Kings, right? Let's look at this squad first, how they look like before we talk about them. Obviously, it came into this auction with also a good amount of money. They brought in Akshar Patel, Chris Wokes, Ashutosh Sharma, Vishwanath, and Tyagaraja. Then they got in, no, that's Tanit Tyagaraja. They got in Vishwanath. They got in Shashank Singh, Prince Chaudhary, and Russo as well, Riley Russo for 8 crores. Now, if you look at the squad, one issue they're going to face is definitely the English players. They have a lot of English players like of Sam Curran, Liam Livingston, Bairstow. Some of them are going to leave for test matches where England will be playing a lot of matches in May. So that's one issue. So they had to fill in that. Do you reckon they've done a good job in the auction? For me, I don't think they've gone for the roles. Harshal Patel, yes, but is slower balls going to really work in Mohali like surface? Or you've gone with a Chris Wokes who might not be available for you in May? Or have you looked at a foresight where you have to replace certain players and got backups for them? I don't think so.
For them, it has been a good auction, right? Because the two players that we got, big players, Harshal Patel and Riley Russo, because Chris Box, we don't know his availability issues. So that's good to know that Indian bowlers are getting well paid based on their what they deserve and what they are here for, right, in the IPL.
Yeah,
That's really good to know. He will be in the playing 11 for sure. And now that's good because the pitch that they have, maybe Dharmashala or Mohali will be their home ground. So his variations will work. We have seen that previously also. When he was in Delhi, right? Uh, he was in Delhi. That was the season where he got famous in terms of the performance, in terms of the or everything, right? So I don't feel any major changes than Delhi wicket and Mohali wicket and Dharmashala wicket.
mhm,
Moreover, equal wickets. So I don't feel any problem with the wicket. The problem may be with the combination that they have because they are heavily dependent on the overseas options. The same
yeah,
goes with SRH as well. SRH and uh, Punjab Kings, both the teams are heavily dependent on their overseas options because also Punjab Kings have overseas in English options, not even any other option because English options we don't know
yeah.
about their availabilities as well, and they are much more dependent on it. Right now, if you talk about their playing 11, it will be heavily dependent on Livingston, Bairstow, Sikandar Raza maybe, or even he may not get a chance to in playing 11. But
Mm,
yeah, if they perform the names like Bairstow and Livingston, then no one can stop them, right? We all know once they
yeah,
perform, when they start their firepower, no other team, even though you have Pat Cummins, even though you have Starc,
yeah.
no one can stop them, right?
Let's not forget someone like
But
Prab Simran Singh and Jitesh Sharma is also part of this squad. So they're
yeah,
also extremely explosive.
yeah, absolutely. That's what I said, right? The top five, uh, if you compare with any of the top five, this top five is much more explosive, right? Likes of Besto, Jitesh Sharma, which we have seen in the recent games
Yep.
against Australia, right?
Sam Curran
And
as well, add
then,
him to the list as well because he's been
yeah,
batting up the order for England recently.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then we have uh, Livingston, right? So they do have great in options. Like other teams for SRH, they don't have great Indian options, right? They can rely on completely, right?
Yeah,
Same goes with KKR as well. KKR,
yeah,
except a year, I don't feel anyone has the caliber to uh, face the pressure that they have Indian players, right?
I
Mainly
think
for Indian
Rinku
players.
Singh is a decent shout now.
Right now, yes, for sure. Right now, from the last season, right? But
Yeah.
it's one season. We have seen so many players.
But
They
you think
went,
Rinku Singh is an upgraded version now? He's an international player now. He's got enough
yeah,
international experience as well. I think that's going to be really helpful for them.
yeah. I mean, it has there. That's a really good thing to know. But sometimes we have seen this from really long years that a player comes in with a very huge uh, kind of respect or a very huge kind of responsibilities, and afterwards, after one season or after two season, they completely disappear. Like we
Yeah.
have seen with Varun Chakravarti, right?
Yeah.
And we have seen with Shivam Dubey as well, right?
Yeah.
So there are some players. I don't want this to happen with Rinku Singh, but again, it's KKR, so I don't really know how they will handle him as
Yeah.
well. So that's the only issue I have. Other than that, in terms of performance, no doubts about that completely. But
Yeah.
sometimes due to management, due to other issues, your performance also get affected, right?
Absolutely.
So that is the only issue that we have seen Nitish Rana. He have been extremely powerful and extremely impressive throughout the years. But once he is in the KKR, performance got affected. We have seen that,
Absolutely.
right? So that is the only issue.
Absolutely. I think under Chandrakant Pandit, and also if you look at the way in which how Gambhir is going to really take his role, I think KKR does a really good job. As you mentioned, KKR could be ranked in the bottom of the table when it comes to the auction strategies because of one of the buys. And when you talk about top three, who would you rank as top three? Chennai, Mumbai, and who comes in top three for you?
For top three, I'll go with CSK for sure, MI, and then I'll go with Gujarat. Right,
Okay,
Gujarat, because
good pick.
they got good amount of players. Then for bottom three, I'll go with KKR, then SRH because of too many options they took,
Yep.
and then for
Yep.
mainly for Rajasthan. No, Rajasthan and Lucknow will come in the bottom because they had
Right.
very low pulse, no options with that,
Right. I think we can put
right?
them in average to be very honest because you can't really
Yeah,
either put them down. I'd
yeah.
say yeah, my list will be Chennai, Mumbai, or Mumbai, Chennai, either ways. Gujarat, RCB, then Rajasthan, mm,
Lucknow,
Rajasthan, Lucknow. Then I'd say my bottom three in the last position I would rank
KKR for
Delhi.
sure.
Delhi because of one reason because I really thought they could have been much better in terms of how they were spent wiser. KKR and Punjab. So these three comes to my bottom three, unfortunately. Other than
Yeah,
that, everybody had an average auction or a very good auction. And dynamics also played a big factor. But I thought teams which had a lot of buzz, especially KKR, after having 30 odd crores, they should have spent much better. They should not go behind one commodity because Mitchell Stark, you never know. He might not give you 14 games. And if he decides to pull out in the last moment, like I'm sure he won't, but that's going to be just travesty. So that's how it's going
right
to
now
be.
he won't do it. Right now he won't do it for this season.
Yeah. And obviously, World Cup is also there, so he might just not do it. So that's about it from us when it comes to analyzing the auction. Thank you, Sai, once again. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you really did enjoy this video, do not forget to share and also like our video and also show the support by subscribing to our channel and check out our Instagram page that is Mad About Sports and check out our course that is Mad About Sports for your journey in analytics. If you want to know more about auction strategies, money spent wisely, etc., Mad About Sports can cater you into your journey. So have a good time, all of you. Check out our courses, and we'll be back very soon. Bye bye.